Norm Finkelstein had a rendezvous with destiny. We will call this segment.
I mean, that is what you have to name this when you drop the podcast.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I put that in the thumbnail tonight. That's going to be the name of the audio podcast tomorrow. Norm and his friend Muin Rabini debated Destiny and Benny Morris on the topic of Israel-Palestine. It was a 5-hour debate hosted by Lex Friedman. I did watch the entire thing. And throughout that 5 hours,
5 hours,
5 hours. And as you'll see throughout that entire thing, Norm Finkelstein can't get Destiny's name exactly right. He keeps calling him something different several times throughout the show. Now, we're going to play you. Somebody posted on X, and I'll put this in the comment section. I'll find out who did this supercut, and I will post it in the comment or in the description of the clip, rather, because you should definitely give them a follow, because to go through 5 hours and cut together this supercut was pretty impressive work. So we're going to see a pretty hilarious montage of Norm dunking on Mr. Borelli, Bonelli, Fratelli, Morelli. He keeps calling it something different. So we're just going to do this first. But what I will say, as someone who watched the whole thing, Norm was actually quite patient.
You're insane, man.
I watched it. Well, I had it on in the background while I was doing other work. I didn't sit and intently stare at the screen for 5 hours. But Norm was very patient. He didn't really start getting annoyed until like 2.5 hours in. Like all of these insults that we're about to see are from the second half. So this was already 2.5 hours in. He didn't come in guns blazing. He was trying to be gracious. Yeah, he was trying to be gracious, but you can only be gracious for so long. He didn't come in guns blazing, but here's how this went. This is pretty great stuff.
Your name, please?
Stephen Bonnell.
Okay. I don't think you understand politics.
You're very binary thinking when it comes to analyzing. Yes, binary.
Please, don't give me this postmodernism binary. Believe me, I'm a lot more literate than you, Mr. Borelli.
I'm going to believe the guy that wrote the stuff.
You read what Wikipedia said. It's called attaching value to words and not talking like a motor mouth.
That's not controversial.
Mr. Bonnell, please slow down the speech and attempt to listen.
Legal standard.
You don't know what's the correct
I know absolutely.
Law. You haven't the clue.
I absolutely
you
do.
haven't the clue.
I absolutely
I
do.
think,
but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Believe it or not, Norm. Literally, you can Google it. You can Google it.
With all due respect, you're such a fantastic moron. It's terrifying. What are you talking about? It's so painful. It's so painful to listen to this idiocy. I will answer the question.
Pilots were out.
I will even answer.
And it was because that was a strike. That was a drone to kill Palestinians.
You want me to answer, or do you want your motor mouth to go? Hey, laugh! It's hilarious. The story is so funny. You see, the problem, Mr. Morelli, is you don't know the English language. Please stop with your idiotic.
The vast majority of protesters have acted in a peaceful manner.
No, listen,
talk fast, so people think that you're coherent.
I'm just reading.
You got the months wrong. You got the months wrong. Aside from Wikipedia, can you tell me what your knowledge of the IDF is?
You can talk to people who work in the military.
What's your knowledge of the IDF? It's true. It's true. I don't spend my nights on Wikipedia. I read books. Even the American judge, she must have been awful incompetent if she was unable to see the misrepresentations that Mr. Bonnell, based on his Wikipedia entry, was able to find.
So this is based on
Mr. Borelli, please don't teach me about the English language.
Special intent.
I'm going to ask you again.
Genocide. Yes.
Please stop displaying your imbecility.
Okay, I'm sorry if you think the declaration of the judge is imbecile.
Don't put on public display that you're a moron. At least have the self-possession to shut up. You know anything about how the UN system works?
If you
just throw out words. You hear binding,
Does
not
242
binding.
Even...
It may be meaningless to you, Mr. Bonnell. Mr. Bonnell, don't change the subject. If you don't know what you're talking about, at least have the humility. You talk about chapter 6. You don't know
how close has 242 gotten to the Palestinian peace?
From tweet 5. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's just so embarrassing. At least have some humility. Between us, we've read maybe 10,000 books on the topic, and you've read 2 Wikipedia entries, and you start talking about chapter 6. Do you know what chapter 7 is? Destiny should talk about making money off
your
of
media blitz,
idiocy.
where you go and talk. Only option is conflict.
Listen to this.
The only option is combat.
Is now an expert on Palestinian mentality.
Despite
faster.
all of the international law.
Everybody, moving.
You're contradicting.
Starting ground. I'm sorry. I can talk slow. You can watch YouTube video and slow it down to 0.5 speed if you don't understand what I'm saying.
Let me. There's a very lengthy history.
Mr. Burrell, at least I had a quote to cherry
That's
pick.
great.
All you have is Wikipedia. You don't know what you're talking about.
It's the inner.
I'm not happy to say that.
Of course you are.
It's a. Mr. Brunel, I don't think I've avoided any of your questions, except when they breached the threshold of complete imbecility.
You're about to tell the children.
He doesn't want to hear it. So
no,
boring.
because it's purchased.
It's so boring.
What gives you hope?
There is no hope.
Okay, all right. So this was hosted by Lex Friedman, I guess, that YouTube is obsessed with trying to get me to pay attention to.
Yep.
I swear, so when I put on my videos in the middle of the night, I fall asleep. That's the intention. And it always auto plays. I wake up to fucking Lex Friedman, like always. So people who say that he's an op, I'm inclined to believe you, because the way the algorithm should work, if you keep shutting it off,
right,
shouldn't they stop giving it to you? It's not like I ever watch it, but they keep feeding me Lex Friedman.
Yeah. Well, he's got a lot of subscribers. He's got almost 4 million.
I don't understand it. He's fucking boring as shit. And when it comes to the subject of Ukraine, he's completely biased.
Right.
I saw him interviewing a CIA guy, basically pulling a Jim Carrey. So there's a chance. You know, he just kept saying to the CIA guy, but hang on, what about the spirit of the Ukrainians? And the guy's like, yeah, well, Russia has this and that. But what if the Ukrainians do a rain dance? No, I don't think a rain dance is. Okay, what if Zelensky makes deal with devil? Okay, sure. Right. You know, he just would not let it go. Which, if you're trying to do what he's trying to do, which seems to be not opinion,
right,
journalism, you don't do that. Like, if that's your lane, if you're a pontificator, fine. I think what's kind of amazing about these clips is, okay, Lex Friedman, whatever, man, I don't understand why he has a following, but he's experienced.
Right.
You throw this guy in with these three?
With these three, yeah.
Like, how did you think that was going to go? And in some ways, it is an indictment of the whole bread tube scene, because you put the average commentator on YouTube in a room with serious, knowledgeable academics, and they're going to get eaten alive.
Yes, and as you could see, Benny Morris, who was the pro-Israel debate partner of Destiny, even laughed at one point at Norm's digs, and Norm, throughout the 5-hour interview, would commend Benny Morris's writing. He said, I've read a lot of his books.
In the end, they all respect each other, and none of them respect this guy.
Right, exactly. He was just a fish out of water. How did he get a seat at that table? They couldn't find another scholar of the topic.
Right.
And look, Norm is a treasure. I love Norm. We've interviewed him 3 times, twice on this show, once on the Jimmy Dore show. And he's great to us. We get along great, and we even make each other laugh sometimes, which is fun. But he is definitely an academic's academic, in the sense that he could you definitely get the sense from him that he's the kind of guy who can constantly be asking himself, why am I here? Why am I talking to you? Like, if he doesn't think that you're in his league, he definitely registers that. Not that, I mean, I'm a college dropout. I'm not in his league. He never said that to me. But you could get the sense when you're talking to him that he's got that wheel turning in his head. Hey, who are these schmucks? Should I be talking to them? Not to say he's not a totally nice dude, he is. But when you put him in a situation with Destiny for 5 hours, that's going to come out. And it came out in about hour 3. He was a class act for the first couple hours, but after a while, he just couldn't take it anymore. And the real old school academic in him that's like, why do I have to talk to this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? He just couldn't keep that contained for 5 full hours.
Well, see, that's really part of my question here. You got to know your limitations, man. If I were asked to sit on this debate, I would decline it. I'm not qualified to be debating Norman Finkelstein on his life's work.
Exactly.
I would interview him about it. That's my job. That's what I do. Right. I platform somebody like Norm, but I'm not Norm. I'm not going to debate that guy. Even if he's wrong, I'm going to lose because he knows so much about it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Not only would I never debate Norm, I mean, in this case, I think Norm is right on this issue,
that
so
subject.
There'd be no need to. But even Destiny's debate partner, Benny Morris, I wouldn't debate him on this because I would be afraid that because he's so much more knowledgeable, he would embarrass me and I would embarrass my cause.
You would hurt your position.
Hurt my position by getting a fool made out of me by a guy who just knows more. That's why I would hesitate to, or I would straight up decline. I'm like, no, I can't debate Benny Morris on this, right? Because, you know, he knows more than me, which means he'll stump me, and then I will make my side of the argument look bad. Destiny, obviously, that never occurred to him. I mean, he approached it with just such pomposity, and that is what you could see got to Norm over time because, you know, he takes this very seriously. His partner, Muin Rabini, was really an unsung hero of that debate because he was excellent too. He was really good. I encourage everybody to watch it. But yeah, I mean, there were three serious guys and then a fucking moron, as Norm said.
Well, this was like the movie about the actor who plays tough guys who thought he was tough.
Right.
Yeah. So you talk like you know what you're talking about, and you convinced yourself that you actually do.
Right.
And then you got in a room with people who actually do, and you got exposed as the moron that you are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Please clap.